Hello, and welcome back to the Entrefluential Life podcast, where we help entrepreneurs lead boldly, live freely, and build legacy brands that matter. I'm your host, John Tanner, and today we've got a special treat for you, a panel-style conversation with two of my favorite people. On the show with us today is the numbers expert, the one who keeps us all honest with our clean books and sharp financials, Stephanie Blaine from Starlight Bookkeeping.
Hey everyone, I'm so glad to be back. I truly believe that when your numbers make sense, your whole business makes sense. And today we're going to dive so much deeper into that.
Outstanding. And also with us today is the narratives expert, my son and business partner, Sebastian Tanner, who helps us unpack the stories, identities, and mindsets that help us run our businesses.
How are you doing, guys? It's a pleasure to be back. I'm excited for our second episode.
Awesome. All right. So here's why you'll want to lean in for today's conversation. Bookkeeping mistakes can literally cost you thousands of dollars, wasted time, and missed opportunities. And it could end you up in jail. But underneath those mistakes, there's often some hidden stories about how we see ourselves as entrepreneurs. So today we're going to look at both sides of the coin. On one side, we're going to see what Stephanie tells us about the numbers take and what the mistakes look like in practice and what it costs you, and more importantly, how to fix it. Then on the other side of the coin, Sebastian's going to give us the narratives take, the deeper why behind the mistake, and what mindset shifts need to happen. So, does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Panel? Okay, let's do it. So Stephanie, let's kick things off with the most common mistake that you probably see in your business, which is commingling or mixing personal and business finances together. What's the damage there?
Yeah, for sure. So this one is huge. I do see it all the time. So many small business owners, they start out by using their same personal debit card, PayPal account, credit cards for absolutely everything. It feels really simple to start out this way until tax time hits, of course, right? Then suddenly you're sorting through receipts, Amazon orders, subscriptions. You're trying to figure out what's business, what was personal. And unfortunately, the cost of that is missed deductions, increased risk of audits. There's just, in general, a lack of financial clarity. So let's say like you're trying to be smart about your taxes, you're writing off meals and business lunches. And at first it feels like a no-brainer. You grab some groceries, maybe you toss in some extra snacks while working late, and you're thinking like, yeah, technically this is part of running the business. But fast forward, you get audited. So the CRA or IRS, I guess, depending on where you are, they start asking questions, and suddenly those business lunches are under a microscope. And here's the thing, it's not that you're trying to cheat the system, it's just that your records were sloppy. So maybe half of those expenses really were legitimate, but because you didn't keep a clean paper trail, it all starts looking really suspicious. And unfortunately, the truth is that tax agencies don't really care what was intentional and what wasn't. If you can't clearly prove that something was business related, they're not going to let it slide. You're still responsible and you're still the ones paying the price. So, I mean, keep it separate right from the beginning, right from day one, if you can.
Thanks, Stephanie. I wanted to ask you, what is CRA for our American listeners?
It's the Canada Revenue Agency. It's the equivalent to the IRS.
Okay, Canada Revenue Agency. Thank you
I'm
for
happy
sharing that.
Because I was kind of thrown for that.
We know
Yeah,
IRS,
sorry.
which is Internal Revenue Service. Revenues in both of them. That's pretty easy to pinpoint.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all about the money, baby. All right, Sebastian, what's going on beneath the surface here?
Yeah, so the avoidance can be disguised as convenience for most entrepreneurs. A lot of founders of companies are going to tell themselves that they're going to separate all of this stuff later And what's really happening is that I think behind the scenes in your mind, and this is where the mindset part of today is coming into play, you're having a subtle identity issue. So you haven't fully stepped into the role of being the business owner. If you see your business as a side hustle, or it's kind of just something that you're doing for extra money on the side, then you're already starting off with the wrong mindset and the wrong foot. You'll treat the finances like an extension of your own personal wallet, which is, like Stephanie was saying, it's going to screw you once the IRS and the CRA and whoever else and their mother is going to come after you when you do taxes at the end of the year. The problem is that, you need to decide at an early stage that this is a business and that I'm the CEO of this business. And then you'll open that separate account without a hesitation, because you have the belief that you're going to run this like an official company. And so the mindset shift here is ownership. You have to separate your finances, and it's not just for the IRS. They're really so that you can see yourself as a legitimate business, and you can get past that imposter syndrome by doing things like this.
Okay, this is great. So the fix here is both practical on opening a business bank account would be like step one. And then the personal side of it, the mindset side of it, is claim your role as a real business owner and not a side hustler. All right. So next up, Stephanie, what happens when the entrepreneurs don't record their transactions on a consistent basis?
Very simply, it's just chaotic. I have seen people wait until the end of the quarter, the end of the year, honestly, even years worth to categorize transactions. And that just means that they're flying blind the entire time. So when they do that, unfortunately, it means late tax filings, inaccurate reporting, and it's a giant panic when they finally do decide that they're going to sit down and do it. They start scrambling. So the fix is really simple. Just record weekly or bi-weekly, monthly, somewhere in that range. Any of that is fine, but keep up. And if you can't, you have to seriously consider delegating.
Okay, so would you say that monthly is good, bi-weekly is better, and weekly is best?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
100%. I think the main reason too is just you forget, right? If you go back 3 months worth, even so, just on a quarterly basis, you're looking at receipts or transactions coming through your QuickBooks or whatever you're using. You might not remember how to categorize something. You don't remember what you spent 3 months ago, right? It becomes a lot more difficult. So spending that like 15 minutes once a week, just everything's fresh, top of your mind, get it done, and then you're good for the week after.
Stephanie, let's pause here for a second and let me ask you this. If I'm a business owner who has been neglecting to do my documentation, right, my data entry here, and I come to you with 6 months of a mess, that's called a cleanup, right? Where you come in and you fix it. What would that cost, like the average percent? I know it's based on the number of transactions on their credit cards and then their bank accounts, but like on a ballpark figure, like what's the average of somebody who's coming in 6 months or the whole year, or even worse, 2-3 years of not doing their bookkeeping?
So like the cost to clean it up, you mean?
Yeah, cleanup cost.
Yeah, like at least a couple grand.
At least a couple grand. Yeah. See, so if you want to save a couple $1,000s, get on top of this now, right?
Yeah. 100%. Okay. It will save you money in the long run. That's
what we're talking about here. All right, Sebastian, how do you see this play out in the founder's mindset?
So the situation is like a future me type of thinking that a lot of entrepreneurs are going to experience. They say that they're going to deal with it later, and then later never comes, which is applicable to many things in our life, is it not? Underneath this procrastination is fear.
Yeah, I'll take care of it later.
Yeah. Take care of it. I mean, the thing is, like, it applies to everything. It's not just the finances, but it's like, I start the gym tomorrow. I start the diet tomorrow. I start every single thing tomorrow. I'll clean this up later, and then it becomes a bigger mess, which I'm kind of guilty of that. I need to get things more in check over here. But it just happens when you're super busy working. So, anyways, it applies more than just in the business side of things, but the other side of like this, I'll start with it later, I'll categorize things later. underneath the procrastination of all of this is the fear that what happens when I do crunch the numbers and it reveals that I'm failing in business. So that's a very scary thought for an entrepreneur to have. And I understand, what that mindset is like, especially as a new business. So you're avoiding the reality until it becomes unbearable, hence doing tax time. And the kicker is that avoiding clarity is not going to protect you. It's going to sabotage you. The narrative shift is moving from avoidance to empowerment. So every time I'm updating my books, I'm building confidence and control. I'm knowing the numbers. I'm knowing how much I'm really making every single week, because you can be flying blind. You think you're making this so much amount of money and you're really not making much, or you're even making more than you thought you were. And the other thing is, when you're calculating, like when you're saving all of your receipts, when you're saving everything for write-offs at the end of the year, in my case, I purchase a lot of materials for business. I'm purchasing the doors. I'm purchasing a lot of different products that is relation to my job that can be considered a write-off. And so a lot of entrepreneurs might even be missing out on potential write-offs at the end of the year because they just don't want to take the time to itemize these transactions that they're doing every single week. You already have it, save the receipt. You're getting it no matter what. It's going to print out.
Okay. So Stephanie's saying on the number side, log it weekly would be the best case scenario.
Yeah.
And then on the narrative side, Sebastian's saying, don't fear the truth. Face the truth now, not later. So basically, denial is not just a river in Egypt. Okay, Stephanie, talk to us about receipts. Why aren't bank statements good enough by themselves?
I mean, first and foremost, the IRS and the CRA, they don't just want proof that you've paid something. They want proof of the business purpose. So without receipts, deductions can be denied. A quick fix to this, especially these days, right? There are so many apps you can use. There's things like HubDoc, Google Drive, QuickBooks has a receipt capture function. Snap a picture of it, upload it, and you're covered. Just keep them somewhere. It is so important it doesn't seem like it on a day-to-day basis, but in the case of an audit, it will become important pretty fast for you that you have those documents. And what a relief it would be to have a folder where you can just say, here you go.
I love that. Keeping a folder or putting it digitally where you can upload it into your QuickBooks Online app.
If you're a paper receipt kind of person, do that. That's better than nothing. But there's so many digital options.
There's too many options in today's world.
Old school. I've got my receipts here in an envelope.
Perfect. I love it.
You know what's funny is
I got to count all these up with my calculator at the end of the year, and I still use a old school calculator.
Perfect. Oh whatever works, as long as you're doing it right.
That's right. Okay, all right. So I kind of got derailed there, a little distracted with the receipt thing there.
I have the same envelope in my truck. All of my gas receipts.
Father, like son, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. All right. So receipts could be seen as just busy work, but they're not busy work. That's very important. They're respecting yourself and respecting your business. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about, Sebastian, what's the story behind losing receipts?
There's a syndrome called I'm too busy, or BS syndrome, that I like to call it among entrepreneurs. They believe that they're hustling so hard, they're working so hard, they're working their butt off 24 hours a day that they can't keep receipts because it's beneath them. And what is really happening is that there's a belief that the details don't matter, that only sales matter. And attention to detail is a very important trait that every business owner should have. Great businesses are built on stewardship, not sloppiness. So every receipt is evidence that you respect your business enough to track it. The identity shift is that you're going to move from being the hustler to the steward of your business.
Okay, that's good. I like that. Being the steward, be a good steward of your business. All right. And then just if we could pause again for a second here. Now, Sebastian, you said something about the receipt being evidence, right? That's why you need it. It's evidence. Yeah. And then Stephanie, you said proof of business purpose. I'm wondering, is there a document that business owners can get that show what business purpose tax deductions or tax credits they could get on their income tax returns when they're filing. So whether it be CRA or IRS, do you have some kind of sheets like that you provide, or is that something that they need to go talk to their CPA or whatever the equivalent is of a CPA?
Yeah. So I don't provide any kind of documents like that. It really depends. It's a big difference between, I don't know a lot about the US
Taxation?
and the IRS, so I cannot speak to that.
Yeah.
But it's really industry specific on what you can claim and what percentage and all of that kind of stuff. And so generally for me, bookkeeping is more of the organization of the transactions that come through. And then things like that will be reviewed in more detail by your accountant.
Right, because that's tax planning.
Exactly. So having it nice and organized, and as we're talking about receipts and things like that, when you're showing proof of a business purpose, even just writing a little note on the receipt before you file it away or upload it to your folder is perfect, right? And then categorize it how you will in your books, and then it gets sent to the accountant. At least everything's in a nice organized manner that the accountant can then be like, okay, you're in this industry, we can write off this much for meals, that kind of thing. So there's a few nuances to that, but as long as you stay organized.
So maybe it would be a good idea. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, that's okay. Just I was going to say, as long as you stay organized, the right person is going to catch the right thing and you'll be filing properly.
Okay, I was just going to add that maybe they could keep a log of the questions that they have, questionable expenses that they could ask their accountant at one time, get them all done at one time, as opposed to having multiple conversations, which are for a fee generally.
Absolutely. So I actually suggest if you're using a software or something like that, if there's a transaction that you're not sure, instead of throwing it into uncategorized and just leaving it alone until the end of the year, create an account called Ask My Accountant. And right in there, all of the information you have. I went here, I purchased this. I don't know if I can write it off because so-and-so. Write all of the information you have while it's top of mind. And then that Ask Accountant category is right there for them to go through, read all your notes, and then they can help you make decisions.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Sebastian. So just to wrap up what we were just talking about, you said it's about having respect for your business. Keep those receipts. It's important. It's not just busy work. It's good stewardship. So Stephanie, let's go and tackle the do-it-yourself myth. Why is maybe keeping this on a notepad or an Excel spreadsheet not good enough?
Yeah. So, I mean, I appreciate any effort taken to do your own bookkeeping, 100%. I love scrappy entrepreneurs, but spreadsheets, they just simply can't replace double entry accounting. It increases your margin of error when you start using spreadsheets, especially if you have a really complicated account. So what happens is you can end up with inaccurate profit and loss statements, misclassified expenses, undetected fraud. Softwares like QuickBooks, Wave, FreshBooks, whatever it is that you're using, it's essential because it might be simple at the beginning, right? But it's not going to be simple forever. You want your business to grow. So start off with an accounting software right off the bat, and it's going to help you avoid so many errors in the future.
And probably more importantly is that not only are you documenting things and it's all in one location and it's a good thorough process, but you're also, and you said double entry bookkeeping. That's really important. Double entry bookkeeping, but it's also the foundation for financial reports, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Sebastian, what's the deeper reason why some business founders are still clinging to some old school spreadsheets, note tabs, and envelopes?
You don't have to bring in something that we're both guilty of. So it's control. It's control. They think that if they're keeping it simple, that they're in control, but really they're afraid of the systems that they're not understanding yet. You got to be adaptable. The irony of this is that by resisting using the proper tools, they're actually less in control than they really believe that they are. The mindset shift is that the systems, they don't limit me, they free me.
Okay, so that's the mindset shift. Okay, gotcha. So get some real software, get some QuickBooks Online, get Sage, get Hero.
You gotta adapt. You gotta adapt. You gotta start like there's some. it's getting so easy for people to be able to do more of these things themselves than having to delegate as much. You have so many tools accessible. You're dealt a much better deck of cards in today's world than people were starting off with. Everything was pen and paper.
Mm-hmm. Right. So utilize the tools and let go of false control.
Mhm.
All right. Finally, Stephanie, what happens when entrepreneurs don't review their reports, the financial reports? And how often should they review them?
Right. So I'd say at least monthly, they should be reviewing them. But when you're not reviewing them, the bookkeeping becomes in a way pointless. You're doing it from a compliance standpoint, right? If you're only doing the bookkeeping just to file your taxes at the end of the year, I mean, of course you have to do that. You have to, compliance is important, but for yourself as a business owner and growth, the whole point is insight. So without reviewing your profit and loss, your balance sheet, your statement of cash flows, and anything else that's unique to your business, you're just kind of driving blind. Reports should be a tool to grow your business. That is the whole point of them.
Okay, cool. So let's just pause there for a second as well. And when you're looking at your financial reports, are you just comparing month over month, year over year, or are you also comparing your numbers to, let's say, industry reports, benchmark reports?
Yeah, I was going to say, so benchmarking is one of them for sure, but it depends on what you're looking at, right? I mean, I like to do a whole array of them. For profit and loss specifically, for example, I like to look at mine in comparison to the last, 4 to 6 months, see how growth has been. I like to compare to this time last year to see, what that jump has been.
Mm-hmm.
It really depends on what you're looking at. And I mean, that's the beauty of something like QuickBooks is there are so many different reports that you can run to get different insights with one profit and loss statement, comparing it with all different periods and benchmarking. You can get so much insight from just running that one report in comparison to a few others.
Awesome. I would love to just pause and share some numbers about the results of businesses that use financial reports and benchmark versus the ones who don't. They're substantially different. They're like the ones who do. Did you ever read the Balance Scorecard, the book, The Balance Scorecard? I know a couple of different writers, and one of them is Kaplan, I think. But I have to get back to you on that one. But the numbers are like double. The companies who benchmark and track do twice as better as their competitors. And it doesn't matter what industry it is.
That's unreal.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit that. Okay, so thank you so much. Let's see where we left off. Sebastian.
Yeah.
What mindset keeps people looking at the financial reports? What's going on up here?
Again, it's fear, the fear of reality. Entrepreneurs are thinking that if they don't look, that the problems aren't real. And it's kind of like when you avoid looking at the scale and it's like you're thinking that the weight's not piling on.
Ouch, that one's painful, Sebastian. You had to go there, huh?
No, it was a dig at myself. It was a personal dig that I had to face. But it's the same. It's a similar thing, you avoid the reports and it keeps you stuck. The new identity is that a real business owner knows their numbers. They don't ignore them. Not outsourcing and forgetting them, but owning them.
Okay. Sebastian, by the way, you're looking a little slim today. Did you lose weight since the last time you were here?
Yeah, I've lost, I think.
Smooth talker.
I think, yeah, it's been a little bit, I think a 4-pound difference since the last
4
one.
pounds?
So, yeah, it's
Nice.
been 4 pounds since the last. I mean, I'm just working on it, trying to keep it, day by day. It's a lifestyle thing. My girl's been trying to get me to get on that level for the past couple of years now, which I've done it several times before myself, but sometimes you fall short and you get stuck and you kind of, you get blessed to have somebody that will motivate you and inspire you to do better. And then at one point you will start listening to them eventually. So it's a lifestyle. You have to, it's like with business, you have to continuously look at the numbers and keep the receipts and start tracking everything, treat it like a CEO and do the same thing with your body, and great results will come from both.
That's great. I'm glad that you have Michaela to help you out. Me, on the other hand, I have Casper whispering in my ear, like, go eat another cookie.
I get that same. I get like fat Sebastian and then ripped Sebastian. Like I have a ripped me and a fat me talking to me. So when I'm out
The
on
fat
jobs,
Sebastian's
he's
a little
like,
red devil, right?
yeah, he's like a little fat devil, and then I have like godly Hercules on my other shoulder, like where I want to be at. And so like when I'm when I'm out on jobs and it's so easy to go and get junk food, I'm like, okay, you know, that Big Mac sounds really nice right now. And then the other me is like, but a protein shake with a protein bar and maybe some sandwiches
great,
so much better for you. And look at the macros. And the other person's like, well, I've been working really hard today, so I don't really want to count the macros, and I just want to eat whatever and have 2,000 calories meal. And he's like, no, because you can't eat nothing else for the rest of the day. So it's a constant battle every single day, every meal. It gets easier. It gets easier. Maybe if people are watching it, experiencing the same thing. But oh my God, it's never.
Thank you for painting that picture in my mind. Now, whenever I look at a cookie, I'm going to think about Fat John saying, "Eat it."
I was gonna say I'll never imagine it any different now. Now I'm gonna have two people.
It's literally what I think. It's like I fight with myself. The other day she mentioned hot pot, and that's like where you get the meat and you dip it into the soup. And she was joking around with me by saying it, but she was testing my will. And so she's like, hot pot tonight? And she wasn't serious, but I was really serious about it. And so I was about to break my no cheat cut until my birthday, and luckily I didn't give in to the devil's temptations. But
for you.
All right,
it's a battle. It's a
cross for you. We're going to be praying for you, okay, buddy? and by the way, just to push the baseline there a little bit higher now, since you did 4, we're going to expect that you do at least 8. How about 9 pounds next week?
If I don't, if I'm gonna have to not have any calories for a couple of days. We'll see what happens.
Oh my God! All right, so getting back on track here. Let's talk about the 5-step fix. So we've exposed the blunders. Let's help our listeners clean up those blunders. Stephanie, what's the step-by-step plan?
All right. So first 5 things is separate your business and personal expenses. Do that right away. You can literally start today doing that. And then choosing software and actually using it. So it doesn't matter which one. I'm always an advocate for QuickBooks, but there's a ton of options out there. Just choose one, actually use it. Number 3 is create a weekly bookkeeping routine. And this does not have to be a very long one, just short and simple. Once a week, sit down and do it. Number 4 is reviewing your reports monthly. We already talked about that. So important. That's what gives you insight. Number 5 is get help before you're desperate. Don't be that person who shows up after 3 years and is like, I haven't done my bookkeeping in forever.
Here's my 5 shoe boxes.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So very simply, those are the core 5.
Thank you. Thank you. And Sebastian, what's the narrative angle for these steps?
Each step is also a mindset move. 1 is identity. I run a real business. 2 being ownership. Systems free me. 3 is discipline. Future me deserves order. 4, clarity. I face the truth, good or bad. And 5 is growth. Delegating is a CEO move.
Okay, those are really good mantras. So you could take any one of those 5 and just repeat that on like 3 times a day for 28 days, and it'll become ingrained in your subconscious mind so that you can act on it without thinking about it. That's very good, because it's not just mechanics. It's actually being a mature business owner, right? Hey, when you launch, it's okay to be a little bit messy, but as you mature as a business owner, you got to be, like you said earlier, a good steward.
Right.
So if you've made one or all of these mistakes, take a deep breath. You're not alone. There's a whole lot of other entrepreneurs out there in the same boat. Every entrepreneur learns this somewhere, and you're learning it today, right here. Stephanie.
Yeah, it's absolutely never too late to clean up your books, build better habits, and step into financial clarity.
Sebastian?
And to help you, we've created the bookkeeping self-audit checklist, which all of you should be doing after watching this. It walks you through all 5 steps. You can grab it for free in the show notes or at starlightbookkeeping.com. or the Entrefluencer.club?
No, it's just Entrefluencer.club, not the
That's what I said.
Entrefluencer.club.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. I'm still thinking of like the Entrefluential life.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
Entrefluential
God.
life.
My brain auto-corrected it just by thinking of it.
I
Or
think
at
it's
Entrefluencer.club.
scroll too. I'm not sure. I think I put it there. No,
It's in there. It's there. It's just my brain is like so. I've been the Entrefluential life for the past couple
I meant
years
on
now.
the ticker tape on the bottom of our screen. Yeah, but I don't think I put it there. So it's
Shame.
www.starlightbookkeeping.com, right, Stephanie? That's your website?
Yeah, that one's good.
Okay, that one's good. And then Entrefluencer.club. Okay. Anyways, if this episode
No,
added
value.
value, what?
I said, don't put the.
Yeah, no, don't procrastinate.
Don't
Don't say
procrastinate
I'll do it
looking
tomorrow.
looking it up. You're gonna say Sebastian gave me the wrong link. You know?
Yeah, now
No.
there's the other devil. He's like the mischievous. Don't do your taxes and don't record your bookkeeping. Devil. He's
I typed in the Entrefluencer.club and nothing came up.
Go put on Netflix. All right. Well, I was saying that if you found value in this episode, please share it with another entrepreneur so that you can help them out. And it'll also share this great information so that we can grow our audience as well. We appreciate that. We appreciate your support.
And if anyone is ready to get professional support, you can go to my website, www.starlightbookkeeping.com, as we just said. And I have a link there to book a free consultation call. So it's like a full hour. Let me know what you need and we'll see what we can do.
That's beautiful. Next week, guys, we're going to be talking about how to fund your influence with profits, not just platforms. And that's going to be a powerful one.
Outstanding. So until then, keep leading, keep growing, and keep living the Entrefluential life. Thank you. Bye for now. Thank you, folks. We'll see you next week.